Hey dolls, it's Andra. Today we're taking a look at Pink Love Power, which is part of JHD's 5th anniversary celebration from the Adonis line. This is the blurb on the back of the box. Feel free to pause the video and have a read. Here's the underside of the lid. And here's our first look at Adonis. Personally, I appreciate the ribbons instead of plastic ties because it's easier to get into but still secure, and it also feels a little bit more luxe. His accessories are very presentably stored away neatly and securely up top. Here's the back of the insert that he's fastened to. There's the stand and the certificate of authenticity. Alright, so Adonis is out of his box and he is pretty tall. Before I get any further into the video, I just want to say I'm sorry if I'm not as expressive or if I sound a little bit off. I'm a little bit sick right now. My throat isn't the best. To me, I feel like some of the Adonis dolls look a little bit off proportionally because their heads and necks are like kind of tiny compared to their body. But in this particular case, I think it doesn't really bother me too much. Maybe it's also just like how clothes fit and things that help to offset or exaggerate those proportions. I think even if you aren't the biggest fan of fantasy skin tones, he is a light enough, unsaturated enough shade of pink that he kind of looks normal. He threads the line very well. Like he can definitely double as a fantasy doll, but also like almost like a regular doll. I think this shade of pink was a safe choice at least. Here's a closer look at his face up. This is what the marking looks like on the back of his head. I wasn't expecting his hair to be this long. I didn't realize that he had these like swirly bits at the top. It's just his hair pulled up with a rubber band and gelled into place, because in the promotional pictures you don't actually see those. You also don't see that his hair has some white streaks in them, which is cool, but it does kind of remind me of raw meat. I get what they were doing here and I don't really mind it. I don't know if I wish the streaks were all over instead of just over there, so I don't really have much to say about that because I don't know, I like the pink hair. I do like his little tendrils up front, the two curls. It's kind of refreshing because I see that JHD has quite a bit of variation in hairstyles for men rather than, you know, the typical like side shaven long top that we see in a lot of MGA boys and in quite a few Mattel boys too. So this is nice. I'm trying to show you these in a little bit more detail in a way because I see that they're not really that well known and I think they deserve a lot of attention. I don't know, I just really love these dolls and I think a lot of you would too. So anyway, we've got this headband which is removable. I don't know if it's picking up, but it says Adonis in pink over there. It's just kind of pulled together like that. It's stretchy. This necklace, which is very similar to the anime necklace, but this is a little bit more masculine. This is cool. Yeah, I like it. It's double layered. They could have just given us like one layer, but no, they had two different sizes. It is one piece, but I like the effect it gives. This is real metal, by the way. And then we have this little like cropped tank top with pink embroidered on it, because this is the Pink Love Power doll. This is constructed a little bit similar to the headband and we'll see this material again later. I appreciate that they have this little thick bit over here at the edges of it because, you know, it gives that higher quality feel. It's thick, it's nice, because this is not exactly simple, but it's, you know, a little bit more toned down, so it's nice to see it executed well. And this is sort of ribbed in a way, and then again we see that thick part there. We've got his insane abs. I wish I had abs like that. We've got this really nice Bermudas or like shorts. These feel like actual clothes again. Like every piece on him feels kind of like actual clothing. It's kind of insane. And then we have a tiny little rivet button thing. Even though it's a tiny detail, it really adds something. Stitches all around. Actual working belt loops, by the way. These pockets, there's some thread holding them together. I suspect that they are working pockets. I'm just a little scared to try and see. Based on how it looks, I'm guessing these are actual working pockets. The ones up here are working too. So cool, so cool. Okay, this is a little bit odd, but the back has a pocket with a flap and the other one doesn't have a flap. Kind of a weird design choice, but okay. You know I like asymmetry, but in this case it's kind of weird. Unless mine is off, but I don't think so. It doesn't look like there's supposed to be anything there. There is a metal clasp at the back to keep this together. And then again with the white tights, we see that same method of keeping them together as in the top and the headband. This stocking thing that says love, power, you know, pink love, power, is one piece that comes up to here, and on the garter it says Adonis. This whole thing is one piece and it's nice and thick. It's almost like a sock material. It matches really well with this one. It's kind of the same concept. Very nice. And again, embroidery, which we love to see. The shoes were actually pretty easy to get on, which I am very happy about, because that's the thing. I hate when doll shoes are hard to get on, especially if they're like detailed and like fabric with proper lacing. That can be a thing, but these were like reasonably easy to put on, so that's nice. Pleathery material with a little bit of like quilted detail over there. Pink ribbon lacing. They even have the like shoe tongues. Here's what the back looks like. Got some like buckles with ribbon that goes around. Very nice, super cute. I would wear these in real life for sure. Bottom part is a little soft. We also have these removable boxing gloves. Super cool. Obviously pleather, but I'm not too concerned about them peeling because I mean they're such a tiny piece, like, you know, and he's got so much else going on for him. Even though they probably will, especially because of how you have to like put them on and how they're kind of like stretched in a way on his hands, so that's gonna add stress to the material. But you know, what can you do? That's what boxing gloves are made of, so it wouldn't really translate well otherwise. I wish we had a better alternative to faux leather. Like obviously there's real leather, but it's not really feasible for like mass market dolls, I guess. It's just kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. Can't really help it. Or we have this kind of like a super mini shoelace string that actually works and definitely helps in securing the gloves. I kind of wish they would fit better. His hand gesture kind of follows this rough shape. They don't seem to sit all the way at the end, so like his fingers come up to about here. I don't know if that's by design, but as someone who used to box, that kind of makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. But not a super big deal. You can't even tell, really. And it looks like it fits well on him for the most part. So if they'd made it a more snug fit, that would have definitely reduced the lifespan of the pleather, because again, stress on the material. His fingers come up to about there. Pretty simple. This is what they look like. Here's a look from the front. Okay, I've been saving this part for last because this whole doll is impeccable, but this particular piece is immaculate and I'm so glad I have it in my collection. Obviously, the big pink elephant in the room, we have this major coat. It's amazing. It's kind of tapered up top in a way so that it's kind of like a conical shape hoodie. They could have gone like a couple routes of this, so they could have had this shape, or they could have had like a more circular shape, and they could have had it more loose fitting instead of snug. But personally, I think this was the right choice. I just feel like that typical circular shape is a little bit common, and also it might have exaggerated how slim and like narrow his face and neck are compared to his like big broad body. I just kind of prefer the like snugger fit for displaying because it's a little bit stiffer, a little bit more tapered. It holds nicely in place a little bit easier. I don't think it's too pointy that it looks weird, because if it did, it kind of would remind me a little bit more of like Patrick Star just because of the color and like general silhouette shape. That's kind of besides the point. Anyway, so obviously lined with gorgeous pink fur all throughout, very densely, very soft. You don't see any like bald spots or anything. Gorgeous, and it's not shedding or anything like that. speechless. This is kind of what the collar looks like, by the way. It's not like one solid piece to the jacket. It's kind of like its own thing, but I don't think it's removable. It's stitched in. It gives it that extra like intrigue. We've got these 2 metal clasps which hook to these pink threads over here, and I appreciate how well they like kind of blend in with the rest of the outfit. So even if you're not using them, they still look cute. Okay, let's get into this material because this is wow. I don't know if this is considered lame, but it is so cool. Look at that. It's got this like shine. It adds depth and glamour to this coat for sure. Like, ugh, it's more obvious in real life, but like it's subtle enough that it's not like gaudy. It's so cool, so cool. Some decorative stitching down here, just more details, and then got like a fur trim with cuffs. Again, you can see that slightly metallic sheen to it. And then we come down to the tracks, which are a big part of the design of this piece. So cool. This has like 4 panels, or 3. So 2 up front and then 1 big one at the back. That's a continuous piece with decorative stitching. I don't know if you can call that plain, but yeah, I don't think it needs anything on the back really. These are real working zippers. These are crazy cool. These metallic gold zippers. This one just comes down. You can have these 2 pieces together. That one you can have down. So you have some styling options here. It's so cool. And it can also add some motion when you're posing him. These zippers are smooth, like so easy to zip. And I was worried about the fur getting caught in the zippers, but nope, they don't. And I mean, like I take caution and try to like smooth them down, but really I barely do anything. But no, they haven't pulled out any fur in the times that I've used them, so that's great. But I would still advise you to be a bit cautious, just because like why risk it, you know? So this is a bit more of a regular silhouette for a coat. And then here's a different silhouette you could try out with this jacket or with this coat. So cool. Moving on to the slightly more technical aspects of Adonis. He is articulated in the neck. He can do just about anything. No chest joint, but he does have the shoulders, elbows, and wrist articulation on both sides, obviously. Hip articulation, which is kind of hard to do with one hand, but it's there. Knee articulation too. Standard knee joint thing. Ankle articulation. Second pair of hands if you want to vary up his pose. So there's one that's like a punching fist and another one which is a peace sign. These also come with that typical ridging that we see from JHD that I really like. It's secure but easy to put on, so that's fantastic. That's perfect. Here's a look at his hand sculpt for the first pair. They're both posed in the same way, just, you know, left hand and right hand. Nice detailing on it. You can see his nails, his knuckles, and everything clearly, and they're well proportioned, and they fit the semi-realistic style of the doll overall. That's his fisted hand. You can display him with his gloves hanging around his neck like that instead of actually being worn on, what have you. Here's how the sleeves are lined on the inside. So here's what it looks like when you clasp up the hoodie. He does look a little bit stifled, but you know, it works. I guess it'll make more sense if you zip it all the way up, but yeah. Yeah, could play around as that. Aww, he looks like a penguin. Could have made it look a little bit less stifling if they thinned down this material, but I'm not gonna complain about having a really high quality thick material, especially when this still works. And I don't know, I'm not really gonna display him clasped up like that. Total change in mood with this peace sign and the hoodie. Or maybe he's supposed to be threatening, like, you know. But yeah, lots of styling options, lots of pose options. And if you invert his hoodie, it kind of gives you this cool sort of lapel-ish, fur stole-ish look. And that's what his hair looks like. It's just 3 sections up top. I just noticed this, but look at that subtle vascularity sculpting. I don't know, that's just another thing to appreciate. It's not just straight up and down a plastic mold. They've got some nuance. He retails for $169 US, and I think that is so fair. So fair. No, I love Barbie. I absolutely do. But they don't give us this level of quality in terms of material and the details that they allow to go through with their designs, because I'm sure the designers put it in, but it's just a production thing, and I kind of feel like they can afford to, considering how big a corporation they are. Like, I'm pretty sure they can still make decent margins out of it. But this is a small company. It's a small company. It's a new company. They produce things in small batches, so things are more expensive, and yet they are giving us all of this, every single piece, a standout. Like, no complaints. This is definitely well worth your money, at least to me. That's kind of something you have to decide for yourself. Back to the little printing here and like up there, I'm pretty sure they're stuck on. Don't quote me on that, because they could just use some kind of printing method that I don't really know about, but to me they look like they're stuck on. And you know, things that are stuck on can usually peel off, but that doesn't mean they'll peel off easily per se. Kind of ridiculous if you want to embroider something that tiny, because it'll just come out a little bit blurry. So 100% understand why they did those things. Same thing with the pleather gloves. As much as I am the pleather patrol and I'm afraid of aging pleather, can't really be helped sometimes. Like, some pieces just kind of need to be pleather. I really don't have any complaints for this doll. I just can't stress enough how high quality this doll is. I really can't. Yeah, we've got a lot of decorative stitching, very luxe like materials that they're using, proper thick materials, lined materials, real working pockets and belt loops, little embellishment details that aren't really necessary, but they did that. Beautiful construction on the pieces with like all this extra finesse that we see up here, and all that embroidery. Have I mentioned real metal? And then like real working laces, things that actually fit well and function on the doll, like fabric shoes, which can be kind of hard to do at a tiny scale. Working laces, and these fit so well. Like, they're easy to put on, but they fit well. Just a good balance to have, but hard to do. Incredible. Just incredible. Rooted hair, like intricate hairstyle, so many accessories. Like, hello, are you guys seeing this? And like hair of different colors too. I can't really speak to the quality of the hair, but from what I can feel, it seems like nylon, possibly saran. I can't really tell because a lot of it is gelled down, but that's the impression I'm getting. Overall, I think he is a fantastic doll. Easily one of the like highest quality dolls I have in my collection. I think just the level of detail and like finesse that they put into each and every piece, and we've got a lot of pieces here, and for a reasonable price point. Some dolls be out here with a lot less, and they're about the same price. He's limited to 600 worldwide. He is part of JHD's 5th anniversary collection, so that's cool. They're still quite a baby brand, like they're pretty new, and I just see so much potential in them. I know I've said this in a previous video. I love them so much, and I really can't wait to see where they go. I want to be here for the ride, so they have my full support. He was my favorite out of the dolls they released for the 5th anniversary collection. I liked the Yaya one. Her dress and her skin tone and everything were great, but her screening felt a little bit off to me. Her eyes and her lips, something about that just wasn't sitting right, so she was a no for me. The other one was like a pleather mama. Like, she had a lot of pleather on her. That was like a big percentage of her outfit, so that was a no. Also, she was dressed a bit too casually for my personal collecting habits and preferences. She was a cool design though. They all are. There's something there for everyone. This is just the one that spoke to me the most. So this is what I ended up with, and I do not regret it. I love him so much. I pre-ordered him and I am so glad. Ugh, fantastic doll. If you like boy dolls like me, but you're pissed off at how a lot of companies don't put time and attention to their boy dolls, check out JHD. Like, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this head to toe magnificence? Incredible. My final notes: beautifully designed, beautifully produced and executed. I am in love. And he's a pretty big doll. Like, they're supposed to be within the like 12-inch fashion doll range, but he is pretty tall, especially with like the bulk of his hair and this hoodie thing, which is cool. The hoodie is like made perfectly for his hairstyle too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed talking about him and sharing him with you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully I'll feel better by then. Bye.